A pencil is running for governor of Oregon. You heard me right. A pencil.
When Oregon was 50th out of 50 in fourth grade literacy, and there was absolute silence from the governor, the Oregon Department of Education, the teachers union, like everyone in leadership that you would think would go, oh my God, like this is a crisis, silence. And that's when I said, it's time for Pencil to run for governor.
Pencil's real name is Jay Schuberth. And in a homemade pencil costume, they asked people to write in pencil on their Democratic primary ballots on Tuesday.
You can't have a thriving, democracy. You also can't have a thriving economy and do all the things you want to do for people if you have these educational outcomes. People don't want to move here.
Despite spending record amounts on education over the last few years, Oregon ranked last in reading in 2024. And voters are fed up.
You've approved a lot of resource allocation for schools, and then you also have elected a Democratic legislature. You imagine, oh, we've handled that. And then to see that we haven't, I think is alarming.
In Oregon, 48% of fourth graders aren't proficient in reading. I spoke with a bunch of experts and they all identified the same 4 problems. They have the shortest school year in the country and recess can count as class time. There is a huge emphasis on local control over curriculums. Districts can actually pick their own. So there's huge disparities across different schools in how reading is taught. Students can opt out of standardized testing, meaning no one really knows how bad the problem actually is until it's too late. And critically, teachers are still being trained in methods of teaching reading that have been debunked by research. Although Oregon is suffering more than other states, the reading crisis in the country is widespread. Nationwide, just 30% of 8th graders are reading at grade level. A few years ago, journalist Emily Hanford investigated what went wrong with reading in America.
A lot of reading instruction in the United States was based broadly on this idea that learning to read is pretty much a natural process that happens the way that we learn to talk. And I think the surprise is that that's not the case.
Many experts I spoke with pointed to Mississippi as an example of a state that's really turned things around. The southern state hasn't spent nearly as much on education compared to others. Nevertheless, they've climbed from last place in literacy to number 1. How do they do it?
Mississippi's state budget is never, very generous. We had to figure out how to better use the dollars that we already had.
They did it by, amongst other things, better teacher training, more testing, and holding students back in 3rd grade if they can't read. Policies many Oregon voters are hoping the next governor will push through. In the primary last Tuesday, write-in votes came in second to the incumbent governor, Tina Kotek. I spoke with Governor Kotek's office, who said that she agrees with Pencil that Oregon has a problem when it comes to reading, one that she says she's made a priority during her first term in office, pointing to the over $180 million in reading programs that she's put in place. While Pencil didn't win, they told me that they will be continuing to push their point through November, hoping to get the candidates for governor to commit to reforms.
It pains me to think of education being so painful for so many kids.